Greetings and welcome to this episode of the Loveseat Therapist. I am so glad that you are joining me here today. I've got something that I've been working on for a little while now. Things keep coming up about this topic, and we touched on it briefly in the previous Loveseat episode, and I'll put a link in at the end of this video to that for you guys. But and then we also have been recently with our daily energy readings been getting a very strong sense on this as well, little bits and pieces. So I just wanted to bring all of that together into one thing for you, one video that will give you a super deep dive evaluation of what it means to be outside of your comfort zone. A lot of people have various definitions for this kind of thing, and I just kind of want to look through that whole thing, all right, want that whole process. So I realize that sounds rather nebulous. It won't be for very long. So for returning folks, please feel free to get comfortable, sit back on your couch, your love seat, and remember, I'm not a licensed therapist or doctor or anything like that. I'm just a random person on the internet that is sharing personal stories of how I have dealt with things, how I have gotten information from other people on how they've dealt with things, and putting that all together in a video for you. So here we go. We are looking at getting outside our comfort zone, and no one really wants to do this. None of us want to do this. We like being comfortable. It's just something that we become comfortable with. The status quo, not mixing things up, not putting ourselves at risk, right? But that's a very small, it's a very small environment. It's a very small world that you have available to you. Let's see what it looks like from 10,000 feet up, okay? So here's our comfort zone, what feels good or safe or comfortable, comfy, right? Everything's stable, it's easy, there's no challenges, no angst, low risk, but low reward. Okay, it may be secure, but it's lifeless. It really is lifeless. If we step out of our comfort zone into the energy of anticipating opportunities, finding our purpose, conquering objectives, goals, targets, getting exhilarated with that energy, setting new goals. You may be uncomfortable, you know. It does require focus and attention and effort. You'll be challenged. You will be stretched, but you will be alive. You will be excited, expectant, and willing to learn. That's where you want to be. That's the growth zone. So it's just on the other side of comfort. We don't need to go into the stress zone where we're putting ourselves in danger, where we're jumping out of airplanes without a parachute, right? We don't want to spend all of our time being annoyed and frustrated and in a panic and stressed. All of these things that you can see in the red zone here, disinclined and anxious and finding excuses, right? Or tense and fed up and frustrated, exhausted, all of that stuff. That's in the stress zone. If that's what you're feeling when you are going about your day-to-day existence, you are not in the right place either. It is just as bad to be in the stress zone as it is to be in the comfort zone. Where we want to be in is that growth zone. It's the Goldilocks zone, right? So let's see, we understand stepping outside our comfort zone isn't comfortable, but it's also not abnormal or weird, okay? It's how we've survived until now. If you've heard anything differently, you have been misled, all right? Cavemen were not comfortable in their caves. They were not. Okay, if there's no sunlight in there, there's no food in there, if there's water in there, it's heavily mineralized and stale and kind of disgusting unless it's got some kind of fresh water source. Those are extremely limited in caves, truthfully. So you can eat the rats and cockroaches that are living in the cave if you get lucky and those are there. But why settle for that? Why settle for an existence inside that cave when there are delicious herbs and plants and game that's just outside the cave, right? Just outside that comfort zone. There's opportunities for abundance for yourself, for your tribe, for your clan, for your family, for the people that you are trying to take care of. But it's on the other side of the cave, right? What are we putting in our bodies? Let's take a look at just our physical selves personally, okay? Because it always starts with us personally. If you're not healthy, if you're not strong, you're not feeling a sense of vitality physically, you're not going to be operating at your best in any other aspect of your life. So that's why we're starting specifically with our physical bodies. You may be comfortable right now with what you're eating and how you're eating it and how you get that food, but I really want you to examine, is this a diet that is going to give you the strongest, healthiest physical aspect of your being? Are you getting enough of those vegetables? Are you eating too much fast food? Are you eating more of things that you prepare yourself? Are you going to the frozen food section in the grocery store and buying a bunch of boxed dinners, right? What we put in our bodies is what our bodies have available to work with, to regenerate, to heal, to stay healthy. And giving it is just like trying to run a car on gasoline that is like, instead of being octane 87, it would be octane 52, you know? Just how would you expect a car to be able to run on something that didn't have enough energy within it to be able to give energy to the engine? That food that you're eating, those drinks that you're drinking, so this includes soda, juices, Gatorade, the things that have a lot of processed sugars and corn syrup and stuff like that in it, those may have a lot of caloric energy, but they don't have a lot of nutritional content, which is the actual energy that your body uses to be able to function, just function. So do take a moment and just kind of evaluate. If you need to pause the video, do that and evaluate on a scale of 1 to 5. Where is your food and drink intake currently? Is it on the side of healthy, whole, energy, nutritional content that's going to provide that content for your body that it needs? Or is it more like fried stuff, prepared stuff, fast food stuff? Really be honest, because how you are doing this now is it going to say how it happens in the future. What you are doing right now is what creates your future. So this is not a idle exercise. Really take a close look at what you are eating. Exercise isn't just for your physical body, but obviously exercise regular, every other day, some kind of building up muscles with free weights or that kind of thing is super important, as is getting out and walking, doing some kind of cardio thing, doing a mixture, a variety of things that you enjoy. It's not just for you physically, but it's also for you mentally. It reduces feelings of depression and stress, enhances your mood and overall energetic being, emotional well-being, increases your energy, and it helps you sleep. And just FYI, that sleep is where your body takes that nutritional content from the food that you're eating and heals and repairs all the damage that we've done during the day. So sleep isn't something you can't just sit there and say, oh, I'll sleep when I'm dead. That may come a lot faster than you were hoping for if you're not paying attention to what you are putting in your body and what you are doing in terms of exercise and movement and staying active and engaged. Okay? So just understand you can you can go ahead and just keep doing the same thing you're doing. You can keep eating the fast food, you can keep sitting, watching the television, doing all of that stuff, but not paying attention to that is not going to help you. Now let's take a look at work. We need to work in one form or another in order to get money to provide some kind of safety for us physically with where we live, the food that we're actually eating, all of that stuff, right? Money, unfortunately, is a necessary part of our lives. But overworking, having a stressful job, having a job that is, maybe it's comfortable, you get by, you can deal with things as it is right now, but you maybe aren't doing your best work there because of the environment that you're working in, the people you're working with, your boss, maybe the equipment that you're trying to work with. How many times have we had jobs where the equipment doesn't work right? So how can we do our jobs correctly if the equipment's not working right? How many times have you said that, right? But you stay at this job because it's a paycheck, because it's paying the bills and it's getting you a roof over your head and it's providing food for you and your family. So just keep in mind, you have options. You always have options. And if you're overworking and stressed out at work, you're going to, like I said, it's stress causes sleep deprivation. It will cause you to not eat healthy. You'll be gobbling your food faster, not chewing it correctly, not making good food choices to begin with. Stress is bad for your heart. It will cause depression. It may lead to bad habits. It affects how you think. It affects how you think. So how can you make good choices if you're stressed out? And there's actually a term called karoshi, or overwork death, that's been documented. So this is not a casual part of our conversation here. Do really consider what you are doing for your work, for your job, for your employment. If you are stressed out and really feeling overwhelmed at your job, you know you need to change. You're in the stress zone. You're in that red zone, right? But it may not be that. You may just be comfy. It may be paying the bills, and you may just be doing enough work to not get fired. So how does that feel? Does that feel you come home from work and you are excited for the day? You've got accomplishments that you've made. You've got goals that you've got moving forward that you're making progress on with work. If that's not happening for you, you need to really take a close look at what you are doing and how you are doing it, and maybe make some changes. Let's talk about relationships more specifically here, okay? Bad relationships in particular. So we're talking about romantic relationships, and this could be your romantic partner that you've got right now. It could be a marriage, okay? It could be family, but it is something that close. We are talking about our close tier 1 relationships, and why we refuse to let go of something, why we refuse to step outside our comfort zone in terms of relationships. We don't feel worthy. We feel like we aren't worthy of a healthy relationship, or we've got this emotional investment where we've invested so much of our energy and time into it that it's kind of like a cost sink, right? Where we are looking at that in terms of how much we've put into it. Or we have this unconditional acceptance. We've seen the worst sides of each other, and there's just a feeling of, that your worst is accepted by this person, and they know their worst is accepted by you. So there's this unconditional acceptance of the worst. There's emotional manipulation involved in it. That can happen a lot of times. You tell somebody, I can't live without you. Well, what kind of reason is that for somebody to stay with you, or for you to stay with somebody? The someday. I am so guilty of this. You believe that if you just stick it out, things will get better someday. That doesn't usually happen. I'm just going to be honest with you, okay? We've got these really high highs when there are really low lows. That means there's really high highs. And that back and forth can be addictive. You've got that cortisol just coursing through you, right? That adrenaline from the fights and the makeup and the fights and the makeup, that can be addicting. And we get used to it. We become as like addicts where we need stronger and bigger energy, stronger and bigger fights, stronger and bigger makeups, right? And it becomes this codependency in this addiction. So why do we refuse to give up a bad relationship? For any one of those reasons or a number of others, right? If you're in the middle of a relationship where this is the standard, where this is the status quo, I really encourage you and invite you to consider relationships can be powerful support networks that bring unlimited joy and abundance, or they can drain you down, wear you down. If the relationship isn't giving 100% of each other, from each other, why would you want to settle for that? Why would you want to settle for less than the best in a relationship? Why would you want to settle for less than the best in your physical life, your body, your work, your environment? Let's talk about houses, okay? Please tell me your house does not look like this. Please tell me your bedroom does not look like this. Please tell me your workstation or your office doesn't look like this, okay? I have lived like this. I have tried to live like this. And when you don't know where things are, when you're constantly tripping over things in the way, how can you honestly expect that you're going to put out the best energy to bring the best manifestation in your life, right? Is this your idea of a comfort zone? Maybe things are within reach, and maybe you do know where everything is. But whoever said that, a messy desk is the sign of a genius, I don't think they had it exactly right. This is not how a genius would function. They may have things scattered about, but it's organized within that disorganization. There's a pile of papers, but there's empty space around it. And you know where that pile of papers is. So consider your environment, and are you comfortable with it as it is? Is it time to do a little cleanup? Pick a corner and just organize that corner. And then pick 1 foot to one side of that corner and just get that organized, or just organize by things like all of the shoes all together in one place, maybe in a closet, maybe under the bed, maybe under a dresser. Doesn't matter. If you're not tripping over them and you know where they are, you've got it pretty much locked in, right? As far as shoes go. It's very easy to get comfortable with eating at our desks. What does your keyboard look like? What's it got in it? How many times have you dumped out crumbs and food debris out of the keyboard, right? What does your monitor screen look like? What does your desk surface look like? What does the floor look like under your desk? Is it crunchy when you roll your chair back and forth? Really evaluate. If you're comfortable in this environment, that's a warning sign. That's a danger sign. Don't stay in a comfort zone that is going to encourage sloppiness and lack of attention. We want to be focused. We want to be paying attention. We want to be mindful and present in the moment. And that is not possible in those environments of chaos. We are invited to come out of our comfort zone, to move into the growth zone. We are encouraged and invited to do this for us physically, for us to do this financially, for us to do this relationship-wise, and for us to do this in our homes, in our work environments. We are invited, we have the opportunity to be our best, to bring our best into the world for ourselves and for the highest and greatest good of all. This is not something where you have to, if you're a introvert, stepping outside your comfort zone doesn't mean dumping yourself in the middle of a $5,000 or 5,000 person event. Okay, that's not what we're talking about. That puts you into that red zone, that stress zone. Getting outside your comfort zone is just taking that one step into growth, into expansion, into opportunity. So that's the Loveseat Therapist episode for today. Please let me know in the comments if this was helpful for you, if you got anything out of it, if it resonated with you. I love you. Have the most amazing, fantastic day. You are going to totally rock this. Go out and get those opportunities and make them part of your growth and expansion. Have the most amazing, fantastic day. And ciao for now.